everybody, it's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. It's Monday night, and this is Twisted Stitches. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a whirlwind past 4 days, and before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who stopped in at Vogue Knitting Live, who joined us for our sessions on the event, and most especially for your friendship, your support, and your orders. Thank you so much for being part of Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. And speaking of support and orders, without any further ado, and before I get wrapped up in everything else and forget to announce the winner of our Patriot Shawl contest. This person will receive a full refund, including shipping, of her order of the Patriot Shawl. We had over 110 orders, and they're still coming in. That shawl is just one of the hottest tickets out there, and I just love that everybody is so happy with it. Okay, so Paul's showing it to me so that I can show it to you. If there are some new folks on the stream tonight, this is the Patriot Games shawl, and everybody's having a good time knitting it. I'm getting some questions along the way. I'm getting some comments, but it's a fun shawl. It's a great price, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So the winner from Ramona, California is Jane Tullock. So Jane, if you are on watching the show, give us a hi sign. Let us know you're here. If you're not watching, I will be sending you a message to let you know that you're going to get a full refund for your Patriot Games Shawlette kit. Thanks again for your order. So that, I just want to make sure we covered that before we got started. And so we've got tonight is our Sock Mania class. You know, I hear so much about people wanting to learn how to knit socks, or those who love to knit socks. Some would say, I'll never go near socks. But it's okay, because, you know, sock yarn can be used for so many things. It's a sock weight yarn. And then, of course, a good sock yarn always had a little bit of polyamide it mixed in with the wool, or you've got a cotton yarn that works really beautifully as well. But what we're doing today with Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl is we're having a little bit of a Sock Mania, buy one, get one. I've got some brand new sock yarns that have come in, and I've got some others that are still coming in. But what we're going to do is show you first some of the cottons, because we're in summer. So these are our Gadifras that we just got in. And I'm knitting up a pair right now. I'm working with one of my sock students, and I thought, well, I think I'm going to knit up the cotton and see how it comes out. But to give you an example, this little summer sock called a sport sock, cute little pattern, little ankle sock. This is how this yarn right here knits up. So I call those the speckled yarns as opposed to the striping yarns. So that will work up like this. And then the stripes here will work up like this. So Gadifra, this is Lana Mia Catone. It is a 90% cotton, 10% polyester. It's on our website for $14.99. We've got lots of different colors, and on the website it also shows you how they knit up. A little design is also there for you. So those are the cottons that we have, and
we know we've got a bunch of folks on. Why don't you let us know where you're from?
And here's another sock yarn. And socks can be all different designs. You know, there's some really pretty. This has got a little bit of lace going on in there as well. Maybe everybody's sleeping from the weekend. It was a really busy weekend, and it's hot, hot, hot. So those are some of the socks that we have in the cotton, some of the sock yarns. We also have lovely wools. Oh, these are such fun. from online. Look at those fun designs. This is actually, I love these. Hold on a minute. So that is the purple and how it makes up. I love it. Looks like you've got slip stitches in there. Really cute. So there's a large variety of colors here. Let me just show you this because there are so many of them. Okay, so you've got the purple, and I'll show you. This is, I call this black and gold. It's really a navy and burgundy and gold in there. And then you've got your teals and your blue, vibrant blue. There's a gray. Pretty, pretty, pretty. The orange and red. Love that combination. And let's see, 2, 4, 6. I'm missing 2 colors, but I have some here. Here's the red and navy. And then.
Oh, I didn't have the comments that I had at the private chat. All right, so we have Kelly Kohlhofer says, Gales Ferry, Anna Maria. Hello from Niantic, our friend Anna Maria. Julie Denny Stark watching from Massachusetts, and Sock Obsessed laughing emoji.
You are sock obsessed. I've never seen anybody finish the heel flap of a sock so fast like you did the other night.
And we've got Ashley McWillie. Hi, Ashley, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Love the speckled designs.
Aren't they great?
And
aren't those great? So the online sock yarn is $16.59. This is a 75% wool, 25% polyamide. Great, great yarn. You can see the design, the little flyer for it. Really fun, very, very fun designs. And I love how they work up. So this kind of gives you an idea of the socks all knitted up. So these are 2 of the new sock yarns that I just got in. Now, there are also other yarns that you'll see in our shop that we use for other things that are also very good for socks. For example, the infamous Queensland Perth, which we use a lot for the Papillon shawl. Shawl right up there. You've seen this yarn. No, not this particular one, but this one is the one that was used in mine. Perth is a really good sock yarn as well. This is a superwash wool and nylon.
oh, we got a bunch more comments. Our friend Carolyn Noller from Steamy, Virginia.
Yes, Carolyn, it's hot, isn't it?
We got Linda Witt-Sims from Madison checking in.
You know Linda Witt-Sims, she stopped at the farmer's market.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
And Julie Stark says, thank you. Donna Hart, does one skein make one pair?
One skein makes one pair. If you're looking at the cottons, the cotton yarns are 380 meters. So you've got over 400 yards on these. And the wools are, they're also about a little over 400 yards because I did check that. Yeah, this is 420 meters. So
we got Sonia Smith. Hello from Virginia. Waving hand emoji. And Jeff Grill with aloe.
hello, hello. The Perth is also about 400 yards. Yes, 437 yards. So all these great yarns are also good for socks. And another yarn that is also fabulous for socks is the Lana Mia Uni, which again is used in the Papillon shawl. So we've got, you can see how it works up, and that's not a larger needle, but of course when you're knitting socks, you're using a smaller needle for your socks. So your fabric's gonna be a lot tighter and not as bouncy as that. So those are just some of the sock yarns that we have. And I took out a book I wanted you to see.
Oh, we got Nessa Kennedy. Hi again from Scotland.
Oh, hi, Nessa. Nessa, are you the owner of the yarn shop in Scotland that we stopped at when we were there? I'm not sure if you're the owner of the shop or if you're someone else from Scotland.
Because we met a number of people in Scotland, and a lot of it had to do with yarn.
So I wanted to show you these great pictures here on this side. This is the Lana Mia Uni sock yarn knitted up in a couple of different designs. This is really, I was very impressed. I had not thought about this yarn for socks. And then when I saw this, it comes out of the summer.
Nope. Nessa says, not me. Sorry. That was,
well, then
we met a bunch of people.
It's nice to meet somebody else then from Scotland. So look at that, how pretty the Lana Mia Uni knits up in a sock. And it's also nice if you're doing if you're knitting a sock and you want to have your toe and heel a different color. This is lots of fun when you do something like this. So I really like, that's a pretty combination. I might have to do that. So the Gediefras are $22.77 a skein, and again, you're certainly enough to make a full pair. And if you do your socks, if you knit your socks 2 at a time.
Oh, hold on, we have a question. Kelly Kohler wants to know, what is the wool one? Will one skein make a men's pair?
Well, they'll make a men's pair, but
Kohlhofer, sorry.
What?
Kohlhofer, I said her name wrong.
Okay. Well, thanks for correcting that. It'll make a men's pair, but I find that most people like to have a little bit more for men's socks because, number one, their foot is bigger, their legs are long, their calves are wider. So a lot of times, if you're going to do a men's sock out of a skein, I would probably say they're going to be shorter as opposed to a longer sock. You're not going to get as high up on the sock. So if anyone out there, I've not ever knitted men's socks because the man in my house doesn't want a pair. So I haven't gotten around that yet. But if anyone's knitted men's socks, I think, Julie, you knit socks for your husband. Do you get a pair out of one skein of sock yarn? That would be a great answer. I would love to hear your answer on that.
And Nessa Kennedy wants to know, what town are you in?
We are in Niantic, Connecticut, on the Connecticut shoreline, which is southeastern Connecticut. We're about 20 miles from the Rhode Island border.
And Sonia Smith said that texture is lovely.
Yeah, isn't it pretty? Yeah, this is really very, very lovely.
And Julie Stark says yes.
Yes, you can get a full pair of men's socks out of one skein of yarn. Okay. Julie's an avid sock knitter. That's why I asked her, and I'm glad she's on tonight so she can set me straight if I need to be set straight. So let me tell you a little bit about the Sock Mania special that we're having. What are you laughing at?
Jeff Grohl says, LOL, Paul. Shame on you. And Nessa said, sorry, I meant when you were in Scotland.
Oh, what town were we in Scotland?
Clenching teeth emoji.
We were in Scotland. We were in Greenock.
What was that town where we bought the kilt and all that stuff?
I can't remember right now, but I really need to keep this going, and I will let.
We'll respond to you.
I promise we'll let you know exactly where we were. We were on a cruise, and that was one of our cruise stops.
And Julie says 400 yards can make a full pair.
Perfect. Thank you,
Julie.
Thank you. So let me tell you our special. With the sock yarns that I demonstrated tonight, the Lana Mia cotton or Catone, the Gediefra, the online, and even Perth. With any purchase of these sock yarns, you will get a skein of KFI's Luxury Collection Indulgence sock yarn for half its price, which would be then $12.50. This is $24.95 a skein normally, and this is a heavier sock yarn. This is a boot sock, more like a more sport weight yarn, and there are a variety of fabulous colors. Now, the Indulgence is either Indulgence Merino, which is a merino and polyamide blend, or Indulgence with Silk. So it's a merino silk and polyamide. And then we have Indulgence with cashmere. And that one is a polyamide merino and a 5% cashmere. So these are really luxury yarns. They're beautiful, soft, smooth. They're going to feel fabulous against your feet, your body, and they're just a great yarn for socks. And like I said, a heavier boot sock or what we call bedroom socks, something to keep your feet nice and warm. So with any purchase where you go on our website with the sock yarns, right now I've got the Lana Mia Cotone is up and the online sock is up. And both those have the offer attached to them right now. If you'd like to take advantage of the offer and you wanted the Godiva or the Perth, either of these two, just send me a note and I will, I'll get you the prices and we can do that. We'll write up the invoice separately. You can send me a note, put it in the message or in the comment section, and I'll contact you after the show tonight and we'll set that up for you. So simply again, any sock yarn that is new that I've demonstrated tonight, the Cotone, the online, the Godiva, and the Queensland, you have your choice of a skein of Indulgence Luxury. Now, what I've suggested on the online on the website is just tell us your favorite color. Unless you have I want the cashmere one, I want the the silk one. We'll pick the color for you, or tell us your favorite color, because there are so many of these and such a variety of colorways that what I do with the sock knitting classes, and we use this for the sock knitting classes, is I just tell me what your favorite color is, and I'll just send that off to you and I'll put that color, be sure that it's in your socks. So lots of different colors. And speaking of classes, because we're talking about socks tonight, if you've never knitted socks and if you want to learn to knit socks, we have our sock knitting classes that are called Zoom. And just like that, you're knitting socks. And that is actually a Zoom class. We do 4 sessions. 4 sessions, or yeah, I think it's a 4-session class. And we start at the toe of your sock. We teach you magic loop. And we, across over the weeks, we do 1 class a week, unless you move faster. The nice thing about these sock knitting classes is that they're all customizable. So somebody sent me a message the other day. Oh, I live out on the West Coast. I'm not sure how I can work this. Well, just let's set up a time. It's right now, I think we all have some time that we can find. Sock knitting Zoom classes are 30 minutes. So it does, in 30 minutes, I think we can find a 30-minute window that would be convenient for both of us, that we can do that. So if you'd like to go to the website and sign up for the sock knitting classes, just go to Zoom or socks in the search bar and you'll find the class. And then once you sign up, then we'll set up our times and it'll work out just fine. We have a great time. And when you sign up, you get a skein of this yarn, and I like to teach with this. It's a little bit bigger and it's a little bit easier to teach when we're learning how to knit. So just a little bit heavier than the real fine weights. So people ask me if I would show, because we were doing socks, if I would show magic loop method and how it works. For me, I don't think I'll ever own a pair of, well, I don't know if you can't say never, but double pointing needles are just not my thing. So
Carolyn Noller wants to know, what is the cost of your Zoom class?
I think it's $149 for 4 classes. I think or is it $125? I'd have to check and see. It's somewhere there.
We'll confirm it and
it's
then send you
under $150. I can promise you that. And that includes your skein of sock yarn and needles and the classes. Okay. So when you're knitting with magic loop, what's happening is when you're knitting toe up, we start off with a closed toe. So we use a cast on that closes your toe. And then the whole idea with Magic Loop is that your wire serves as a cable to hold the stitches that you're not using. So if I'm going to knit these stitches, go ahead, Paul, you have a question?
Telling says, hi, Paulette Meyer. And Carolyn Nola says, great price.
Thank you. Thank you. And hi, Ted. So what you're doing is you're knitting the first one half of your sock. Let's call that the front half. And then we're going to do the back half. So I tell people, whatever you do to this side, you have to do on that side as well. So when you knit with Magic Loop, what you're doing is you are pulling, you're using your working thread, or your working yarn is always coming from your bottom needle. So you're pulling the needle out, and you notice now that the stitches that were on my needle are now on my cable. And what I'm going to do now is use this needle, and that's where that long wire comes in. And people have asked me, do your needles, does the wire twist? Not on these, it doesn't. And I'm going to then start my knitting. Just like you would if you're using DPNs, you want to knit those first few stitches really tightly. I always tell people to give them an extra tug so you don't get that laddering up the side of your socks, the same way you might get that on a sleeve if you were using DPNs to knit a sleeve.
Oh, Julie Denny Sark says that's a great deal for a class and supplies.
Yep. Thanks, Julie. I think so too. Well, I have to consider the fact that we are not face to face, and I want people to feel that, that they are still getting a good value for their money. And so I'm knitting straight across my sock here so that I can show you what we do at the end. And Julie, I noticed you use DPNs. Have you ever tried, or have you ever worked in Magic Loop? And if so, what did you think? Because once I learned Magic Loop, I didn't want to do anything else. Okay, so I've gone across my sock. So now, instead of working around a circle with DPNs, I'm just going to turn my work, and then I'm going to shift the stitches that were on that cable, on the wire. Remember, I moved them over so that I could knit with that needle. So now I'm going to put those back on my needle. And because you're tugging, those first few stitches are always a little tight, and I'd rather struggle with them now than have to deal with the ladder later. Okay, so I put those stitches back on my needle, and now I'm going to pull this, my working yarn is down here. I'm going to pull that needle out, and I'm going to start working across the back part of my sock. And that's all you do. You just knit, slide, and it's that simple as far as Magic Loop. It's a little fiddly when you're learning, as is everything. But you know what? It works out just fine. And I haven't had one person on my Zoom classes not be able to figure it out. So I'm happy to help you if you'd like to learn it. And something too about Magic Loop is you don't just have to use Magic Loop for socks. You can use Magic Loop for anything that you're working in a circular motion, a circular order. For example, if you're knitting a sweater, and when you get to the sleeves of the sweater, they say to switch to DPNs. Well, you can switch to DPNs if your circumference is small enough or big enough. You could actually use a 12-inch wire and just knit it in the round, or you can use Magic Loop. And the way you do that is you put half your stitches on one needle. Well, you cast all your stitches on. I'm going to show you how this works.
And Nessa Kennedy says, I love the Magic Loop 2 at a time.
Oh, yeah, 2 at a time. I tried teaching 2 at a time Magic Loop to one class one time, and they had never knitted socks before. So getting them to understand the concept of a sock and 2 at a time and Magic Loop, was a little bit much. So now we learn how to do them one at a time. So if you were going to knit a hat, say, and you were going to be using magic loop, where you cast on, let's just pretend this is your cast on. You've got all your cast on one needle. Well, then you just take your stitches, divide them in half, just pinch your wire and pull them out. And now you've got that circular piece. Now, of course, if it's a hat, this hasn't been joined on the bottom because you're working from the brim up. So that's how you would use magic loop. So if you wanted to learn magic loop and not socks, we can do that as well. And we can do it on, we could do the class, and yet I would teach you how to just do the magic loop method for your projects.
Nessa Kennedy says, yes, too much for a beginner. Sweating head emoji.
So that's our little sock mania for now. We're going to be getting more sock yarns in, but I wanted to kind of get that going because it's still a little warm yet. We don't want to knit real heavy projects, but it's time to start thinking about some winter yarns and winter projects. And, you can wear cotton socks year round, but socks are always an easy thing to knit, to take in the car if you're going on a little road trip or something like that. So that's our little sock mania class. Are there any questions?
Well, I'm thinking that perhaps if you make those cozy socks for nighttime, I might be a player for
all
one.
right, you're all a witness. You're all witnesses.
Jeff kind of shamed me into it. But we love Jeff, so it's okay.
And speaking of winter, I know a half hour goes so quickly, but I think since this is not Vogue Knitting Live, nobody's going to cut me off at the end of 30 minutes. So if we go a little bit over, I hope I bring you enough value to show you just a few extra things, because I'm really excited about this. I started knitting, and you may have seen this online. I started knitting my project with Andiamo, which is a Peruvian Highland wool, a super bulky wool that is brand new by Jody Long. And I just love the design of this vest. It's knitting up. Of course, if I could get a big enough window to sit and knit, I'd probably get it done a lot faster. But I am doing my best to zip through this and do the pattern and the yarn some justice at the same time. So this is the project that I'm working on right here. And it's a vest, lovely little vest. And I will have that up on the website. It takes 4 skeins. 4 or 5 skeins of Andiamo.
Rita Johnson Cotterman says, I heard that. Smiling face emoji. And Julie Denny Sark says, that is looking great. The color is beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it gorgeous? Here's another fabulous color. I didn't get all the colors in yet. I was able to snag a few sample colors.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of colors down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got enough to make the vest.
Why don't you take those out?
Okay. Here's more. Look at them. Look at these colors. Aren't they fabulous? So Jody has a whole bunch of patterns that that will be coming out with the yarns, but I wanted to do something different before the patterns actually were available. So I started knitting up. I thought this would be a fun vest to do. So that's going to be coming up on the website.
Anna Maria says, love the color.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And Julie says, that is looking great. The color is beautiful. And Donna Hart says, when can we order that yarn?
The Andiamo, this one, you can order. If you want to reserve it, you can. The colors are actually, the colors are on my post on Facebook. If you can look at them online, or I can send you the color card and you can reserve it, because it's not going to be coming out for just a little while yet. I know I have my trunk show coming up for, I think, in October. So they'll be out, they should be out in September, these yarns. And so if you're interested, I can get you all the specs on this particular pattern, and we can reserve your yarn in the colors that you want. And it's I think it's I think it's $25.89 a skein is what I'm looking at right now. Just a little over $25 a skein. And it's great. The yardage on this is 175 yards. I don't think I've ever seen a super bulky that's got that kind of yardage.
And Donna says great.
And it's a Peruvian Highland wool blended with superfine alpaca. So that's this. Now, this is really going to be funny because we're going to go from super bulky to walk this way to 50 Shades of Gray. I mean, no. I'm sorry, 50 Shades of Mohair. Well, we could go to 50 Shades of Gray, but we're not going to.
Not that kind of knitting shop.
So 50 Shades of Mohair, brand new yarn by Katya. And there are two fabulous projects that are included in this one pamphlet. So there's the oversized sweater and cowl, and then the scarf.
Those are on your Facebook page, right?
These are on my Facebook page. Actually, I'm just getting them on the website now. So the way this works is the sweater and cowl kit takes 7. This is this exact color combination that you see here. So this is the color combination. The sweater in every size sweater and cowl will take 2 skeins of 7 colors. So your kit will come with 14 skeins or reels of mohair and the pattern. And that is that's brand new, going to be up on the website tonight. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting together different kits that we know what the pattern comes with, the colorway that the pattern comes with, but we don't all want to look the same when we go out. So why don't you take a peek at this, Paul? I'm putting together different colorways that I think will be complementary. And what we can also do, though, is how much you love to FaceTime with you all. We can FaceTime and you can put together your own colorway. So if you would like for me to reserve some time to meet with you and go through the colors so that you can choose your colorway for 50 Shades of Mohair, I'll be more than happy to do that. And then you can create your own. Like I thought this was really pretty. You can do something that's, in the deep tones with, the navy and the burgundies and the brown. You can, put in a bone in there to go with that. So it's really fun to create your own color combinations.
We've got some comments coming in here.
Okay.
All right. Nessa Kennedy says, great yardage for such bulky yarn. That was from before.
Yeah.
And Julie Denny Stark says, you definitely get a cut off a 30 minutes. If you went to 50 Shades of Gray, triple laughing face emojis.
Yes. No, we're gonna stick with 50 Shades of Mohair and offer to put together your own colorways if you'd like. So I'm going to be posting these on the website. You'll see several different colorways that are available. If you want to reserve, a little consult, we can get together in a FaceTime meeting and we'll create something for you specifically and individually. So I think that's everything. I'm going to be reaching out to some folks. We've got a Noro Silk Garden trunk show coming up in a few weeks. I'm looking for people who want to participate in that trunk show by knitting something and being part of the show that night. So it doesn't have to be completed by the show. But if you're interested, give me a holler at nittygrattyyarngirl.com or right here on the news on the feed here on our show that you'd like to participate in the trunk show. So I think that's all we've got for tonight. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for letting me go over. And
hold on, we got something coming in.
And
Julie Denny Stark says, I appreciate how you keep getting new yarns all the time.
Well, thanks. I do my best to keep it nice and fresh for everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great week.
Oops.
And don't forget, reach out if I can help.